Welcome to the Health Sport Podcast, a podcast in which we discuss with athletes of all levels, health professionals, and key figures of the sport world. Before presenting this episode's guest, please consider sharing this with your friends and loved ones who could benefit from it. Also, I encourage you to subscribe to the show on whichever platform you're listening to. It helps the podcast grow. This episode's guest is the face of international volleyball, who is not a player. Before becoming the master of ceremony of the biggest international volleyball tournaments, she started her career as a in-game host for the Ottawa 67s. We'll discuss her journey, what is the master of ceremony and producer in a volleyball game, and she's also giving us some insider tips about the job. Please welcome Bianca Molnar. Bianca, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Before we begin, I just want to thank Centre Vidéotron to have rented us a room to record here during the
Absolutely.
VNL. So I want to thank them. That we're working together like for a year, but we're always traveling around the world. So when you're in Quebec, we try to make this happen.
Yes.
And I'm really happy that you've accepted the invitation.
Oh no, my goodness, it's a pleasure. It's great to see so many people that are so kind of passionate about what we're doing here, and that's how we kind of met. So I feel like this is a full circle now. I'm so happy to be here.
And for everyone who knows you, you're like the face of volleyball in the world, kind of. That is not a player, but for everyone who doesn't know you, you're a PA announcer, you're the in-game host, the public mascot, we could say, not in a costume.
Yeah.
So you've worked with the Ottawa 67s.
Correct.
The Red Blacks.
Yes.
VNL.
Yes.
Elite 16s.
Yes.
Many more
Yes.
around the world.
Yes.
Is there one event or game that you remember all your life?
Yes, two actually. My first one was the first game I ever did as an Ottawa 67s host. I kind of got thrown into the mix. Our host left, so they thought I would be a good fit for it. I used to train staff at TD Place where the 67s play, and I'm very comfortable talking in front of people. So I filled in as the host, and I totally bombed. Like, it was so bad. But I had so much fun doing it. And I remember reviewing the tape and being like, oh, this is, even though it wasn't super great, I was in the middle of a shot, like going live, and I was supposed to spit off these facts. And I totally forgot my script. And I, on camera, said, hold on a second, I don't remember what I'm supposed to say, so I'm just going to grab my notes. It was just in front of the public. This was not on broadcast, but even that didn't bother me. So and then I started reading, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And it kind of snowballed from there. But I'll always remember that specific match because failing was just so fun. And that's usually such a contradicting thing to say, but that's truly how I felt in that moment.
In front of thousands of people.
Correct. So it was a bit of a strange moment, but I think that's what kind of triggered my spark and my interest for being in front of a group of people and in public and just being able to kind of speak and showcase my personality. And I just had a very weirdly comfortable sense in that environment. But ultimately, I think the pinnacle event of my career was I was fortunate enough 2 years ago, I was the MC at the Paris Olympic Games for indoor volleyball.
Oh.
Yeah. So I finally, as soon as I found out that MCing was a career path,
what's MC?
That was the goal. So MC is like master of ceremony.
Okay.
I think in more international volleyball, we tend to use that term because back in the day, announcing volleyball used to be more of a formal, kind of like tennis. So you have the speaker. If we were to compare hockey, I guess in Canada, it would be like the person, the voice of God announcing who scored, how much time is left in the period, like last minute of play, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when the breaks are on, you have the host. So usually the technical side of the sport is one role, and then the in-game host is the other role. And then as you've seen in volleyball, I do both.
You can say, yesterday you said that serve was 108 kilometers because it was a Kira.
Yeah.
But like that was a fast, hard serve.
Correct. So
And after that, you do also the fireball and all the games during the timeouts.
So I was taught to MC. We call it MCing now because you are truly kind of the master of ceremony for that sport. So MC is usually a typical term used for more a formal type of show or a presentation or a ceremony. But we've kind of adapted it in volleyball. So we call our hosts and our technical announcers who are kind of doing the two roles an MC position. So at the Paris Olympics, that's what I did. It was incredible.
Did you have the dream of doing the Olympics when you were younger?
You know what? Not really. I always just thought I loved playing sports. I grew up playing everything and anything, volleyball, soccer. I even played hockey in high school a little bit. I was a goalie. That's another story for a few years. I played basketball. I did track. Like I just loved sports growing up. And I was also a dancer. So performing in front of people was something I always loved. And
classical, breakdance?
I started off as a ballerina, but then I did a lot of like jazz and hip hop. I taught. So because I was teaching dance, I was also doing a lot of speaking in front of people. So I think just the mix of what I did in life, being an MC in volleyball, sport that I grew up playing a lot and loved, this was just a weird fit. Like I didn't even know MCing was a career path, just kind of fell in my lap and I ran with it. But playing the Olympics was definitely, I thought it was just not attainable. I would say I'm not really a dreamer. I'm more of a realistic person. So I just didn't think like, how could I ever go to the Olympics? Plus I knew growing up in sport, I'm not very tall. And the sports that I did like, you need a lot of height for. I was a setter though. So I guess I wouldn't have needed to be that tall. But no, just as soon as I started MCing and seeing what other MC did and traveling a bit more and realizing that this was a career path I could take, then I started dreaming of the Olympics. So I would say at around 2018, 2019, I was dreaming of hopefully being an MC at any Olympic Games. And then that came true in 2024.
Quite quickly?
Very quickly. Yeah.
Probably not in terms of years for everyone, but if you're on the Olympic circle, you had 2022 with Tokyo.
Yes.
2021, sorry.
Yep.
And then you had the next one. So when you had the dream, you just...
Yeah, I think I got, you know what, I feel like it was right place at the right time. When I was MCing and hosting, I guess, the in-game host for hockey with the 67s and doing some of the Red Black stuff, Volleyball Canada decided they wanted to host VNL, and I didn't know much about Volleyball Canada. I didn't know much about professional volleyball. It wasn't on my radar as a potential sport at all. And then TD Place, the venue I used to work at, received the event. They were going to host this event, and very quickly there was no one to host, to be the in-game host for the announcer for this event. So I volunteered, and it just ended up being a really good fit. Because I knew the sport really well. So the technical part of it wasn't very difficult for me. But I think the style of announcing or emceeing that is required for volleyball, I have naturally a good personality for. So it was just, as soon as we hosted that first VNL at TD Place, it was an instant click. And I felt like I was in my element, like truly. And then it just, it took off from there. So now for the most part, I only do volleyball. So I'm indoor volleyball and beach volleyball. So at the moment, my schedule doesn't allow for other sports, but I wouldn't want it any other way right now.
You've MC in football, hockey, volleyball. Is there a bigger difference in the crowd from the sport type or from the country type?
Oh, boy.
Like, do you do the same thing in Canada that you do in Qatar for beach volleyball or the Philippines? Or it's more diverse when you do in Canada in volleyball versus hockey?
Yeah, very good question. I I would say in Canada in general, because when you're within your own culture and you know how people are going to react, it's a lot easier. So I find it easier to adapt, I would say, just in North America in general.
Okay.
So when I go to the US, it's a very similar situation. And Canada as well, I feel like I understand, me as a Canadian sports fan, how I would react to certain things. So I feel like that makes it a lot easier to just announce in North America in general. But I do go announce, like you said, in other countries. And it's a challenge in a sense where, depending on what country you're in and what sport it is, sometimes the crowds are wild. So if I go announce in... Too wild, exactly. If I go announce in places like Japan, which I have, very big sport fans when it comes to volleyball, but they're more reserved. So here I could get everyone to sing and clap and dance and do
the
a
flex
lot of...
cam.
Exactly. And like really play along with me. However, in Japan, they're more reserved. So I know based off experience, I would do a lot. I wouldn't bring people down to the court necessarily to like play a game. I know
tic-tac-toe,
yeah, exactly.
for
Like stuff that we did, that we've been doing in the past here, which is well received, but they're in their seats. They're, everything is within their own frame. So they don't even like to stand. There's a lot of clapping. They like being on the big screen, but it's a more reserved style of, crowd interaction. They're very loud,
Okay.
but they're within their own bubble almost. Whereas if you go to Brazil, they're singing and dancing. They're up on their feet the whole time. It's a party. So every crowd is different per country, but it also depends on the sport. In Brazil, they just love volleyball. It's not as big as soccer, of course, but it's pretty close. So between the culture and the love for the sport there, it makes it a very unique crowd. So it's a lot... With the style of emceeing I have, it's a lot easier for me. It's a lot easier for me to play with a Brazilian crowd than it is for in Japan, for instance.
Is it one aspect that you like the most about the job, or you find the more challenging to adapt during every places you go to?
Definitely one of the parts of the job I do enjoy, because I feel that
it's a challenge.
It is a challenge, and I find that. I learn a lot by going to these different countries and learning to think in a different way and learning to observe and adapt. And sometimes things that I do there, I could also bring back home. So you learn different strategies or different ways that people react to you, what works and what doesn't. And then I also really love, because I travel so much, I'm able to share my experience with other people and MCs that we're working with.
The locals MCs.
Correct. So I always find it super beneficial when I go to these other countries and English is not the main language. Of course, I'm either announcing in French or English. Most of the time it's in English in these other countries because of the international standards that are required. However, there's usually a local host, and I benefit a lot from learning from them. So they're learning from me, I'm learning from them, and we're both just feeding off each other, which is really, really great. So you kind of, I feel like I'm just always learning everywhere I go and trying to adapt, which is a really great challenge, but I feel like that's how I'm developing in my craft.
Are you starting to learn some languages or just sentences?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I should put a bigger effort. I think I don't do that as much because most of the time if I do go somewhere else, I'm with a local person who is speaking that language. And sometimes we do get sentences or phrases just to kind of flow a little bit better. But in terms of learning languages, I've definitely struggled. I've tried in the past. I need to be better at it, and it would be so much more helpful. But I think I get away with the fact that most places we go, they do speak English. So if they do need to interact with me, they'll revert back to English. So unfortunately, it doesn't force me enough to want to do stuff. But as someone who does this in different countries, I should put more effort into it for sure. It is something I should be doing.
Yeah. Being international like this. But I don't know, like for us from Quebec, when you speak French as your first language, you kind of have to learn English if you want to survive in North America, at least.
For sure.
But like in all the other countries, you kind of have to learn English. But when English is your first language, trying to find another one, English is the most spoken, not the most spoken, but it's the international business language. So you need to speak it if you want. You have to.
For sure. And funny enough, that's not always the case. So we get to work with people sometimes that speak no English. So I'll bring up Japan again because when we go there, I have a translator that works with me because although I'm sometimes traveling as an MC, I also produce. So when we're working with these production companies or groups of people, in some countries, English is just not a language that they speak at all either. So you're given a translator. So it is unique that you find ways to communicate with people, regardless if you're speaking the same language, and you just make it work. So there are cases where I am communicating with someone and we're not speaking the same language, but somehow works out in the end, which is also pretty cool. It's funny and it's cool at the same time. You just make it work.
And what is your favorite part of the job?
The people. I definitely, in my role as the MC, I feed off people energy. So when I'm in front of so many people, my energy levels are high and I love that. And then when it's behind the scenes and during the prep and leading up to the event and all the stuff in between, it takes so many people to bring an event like that together, and people need to care to put that event together. So the fact that everyone's working towards a common goal is great in anything in life, really, when you're trying to bring a group of people together. But we're in a business of entertainment. People are paying money to come watch players, and it's their way to disconnect from the world. So the fact that we're kind of in an industry that is trying to create a fun and exciting experience for people is pretty cool. And I think most people that are working our job also are trying to have fun while they're doing their job, because we're in a fun environment. So you get people that care, you get people that are passionate about what they do, and you get people that are just really smart or you get to learn from. So definitely I would say the people, whether it's the fans in the crowd that are all really interesting to me as I'm emceeing, or the people behind the scenes that somehow manage to bring these really big events together.
And how quickly are you implicated in the organization of the game? Is it like you come 1 week before, or like when they say, oh, we are going to this venue, you start to work with the organization team to be saying, okay, we need that, and then give you input into the atmosphere that you want to create as an MC?
Yes, great question. I think what most people don't know about me is that I'm just not an MC. I also produce. So for instance, if we take the VNL event that's happening here in Quebec City, I work for Volleyball World, which and FIVB, which are the companies that own the event. And then we have the local host, which is Quebec City itself, and then we have Volleyball Canada. And I work for both Volleyball World and Volleyball Canada. And my job as a producer is to do the production side of the show as well. So I help organize the lights, I coordinate the technical side of things, lights, video, audio, all of that. I put the show together, and then I also create the scripts and do all the things that a producer would do. So scripting and some staffing.
10 minutes before game time, there is the national anthem, and then there's a presentation. It's probably not in this order, but like everything up to the game.
Correct. So creating all the protocols and stuff is part of my job with Volleyball World. So the protocols that people see before, during, and after the matches, like the outline of it, I help with that. I say I help because there's multiple people that need to come together for that to work. We're working with broadcast, we're working with FIVB, the technical side of the sport, to make sure that we're that all their things are in place and that we're not interrupting the warm-ups or the coin toss and things that need to happen during a match, or the challenge system. So there's a lot of pieces that go into the production side. Most people, when they're around international volleyball, now hear the word E&E, which is entertainment and engagement. And it's our definition of what you would typically hear as like production or game day or sports presentation.
Okay.
So entertainment engagement is more what I've niched in, I would say. And emceeing is just a part of it. So most people don't recognize that after I'm done a match, I'm actually going back to the room to write the scripts, to make sure the protocols are in place, to do the staffing, to fix all the technical issues that happen during that match, and producing the game plan of like what we're doing during the breaks and all of that behind the scenes.
I think I came early one morning this week.
Yeah.
Just before the Ukraine and US game.
Yes.
I think it was like 9 a.m. or before the woman get into the venue.
Yeah.
And I could hear the national anthems of the both countries with all the lights going on.
Correct.
That was you.
Yeah.
I heard you on the mic.
Yes.
But you're doing like a practice.
We were doing a technical rehearsal.
Yeah? Technical rehearsal.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a few hats when I'm in Canada and I would say North America, which I'm so grateful for. One of the reasons why I enjoy my job so much is because I do get to do the two items, and I do need support on site when I'm emceeing. Obviously, I can't show call or produce at the same time, so I prep my staff and I have people to support that side of things when we're live. But the back work of it, to go back to your question about how long what I do when I arrive on site, if I'm only hired to MC, typically I'll get stuff 2-3 weeks in advance, scripts, stuff like that, just to be familiar with what I'm supposed to do, understand who the show callers are, who I'm working with. And then when I arrive on site, there's rehearsals. So I would say maybe a month out at most is how I prep for a specific event if I'm just emceeing. But these other events where I'm also producing, I could be working on them for a year. So I work with, because there's a lot of pieces that have to come into play, and that MC piece is just the one. For me, that's the easiest one to jump right into. And I have to put, because of, I guess, my experience and repetition, it's like riding a bike. So I have most of my prep done way in advance or from years past that I could just jump into. But the production side of things, I have less control of because we're in different venues all the time. We're working with different people. We're working with different suppliers. So that piece takes a lot more coordination in advance. So a lot more of my time is actually spent producing and doing that side of things, which is a big part of my job right now.
And now we talk about the thing you really like about the job, the people.
Yes.
Is there one thing that you find difficult in your job? Or now you're the master of MC and producing?
No, absolutely not. I think I've always been a perfectionist in life. So I have a very hard time, not that I don't trust people, like letting go. I want everything to go so well, so good all the time, that I'm not good at setting boundaries for myself to like choose sleep over work or choose to go eat over work. So because I think I care a lot and I do love my job so much, I would say my biggest challenge is just taking care of myself, which I don't know if that's really the answer you're looking for, but that's truthfully it. I feel like I manage problems as they come very well. I feel like I can manage the different challenges of crowds really well. Like that seems to come more easy to me. But when it comes to letting myself not just be about work, I have a hard time with that. And I think most people would say the same thing.
In French, we say on the same bateau, là, mais I think I'm in the same situation as you.
It's a blessing and curse. I know that just means I care. But for instance, I'm so lucky that I have such great people that I work with that are like, you need to go to bed, or like someone needs to take care of you. Not that I need taken care of, but I'm less, I'm not good at delegating all the time. So because I'm producing and because I'm emceeing, I need to share the workload better. But yeah, I think on a personal level, that's where I think I struggle.
Does it come from within because of your perfectionist aspect, or you're putting yourself this pressure because there's thousands of people, like you said, that come to the show, to the event, just to take a break from life and just make have fun for 2 hours, 3 hours?
For sure. I definitely see that the work we do is not for any of our self-fulfillment. Of course, it's nice when the event goes well, but it's for the athletes and it's for the fans ultimately. And of course, there's like sponsorships and other stakeholders that are involved, but it's like, who came first, the chicken or the egg? The athletes wouldn't be where they are without fans, and the fans wouldn't have anything to watch without athletes. It's truly for them. The experience as a whole is successful when both the athletes put on a good show and both the fans are loud and great.
You're from Canada.
Yes.
Right now we're in Quebec City. Canada is playing.
Yes.
Can you cheer for a team?
You know what? I've become very good at trying not to be biased during a game. I think that was part of my training early on.
Okay.
Because, of course, when there's a home crowd, it's a lot easier to want to cheer and to get your own crowd going. Because most of my work at this point in life, in this career, I would say, has been at the international level. A lot of we recognize that it benefits also to not be biased in a lot of cases. Our sport is about celebrating the sport itself, not necessarily just whoever the home team is. And I think we've done a really good job at developing a production and kind of an entertainment plan that revolves around celebrating the sport, kind of like you see with the big moments during the match, where yesterday Canada played Germany, but we didn't just call big moments on Canada. We also called some for Germany. So,
because there are fans from Germany right now.
Correct.
In the stadium. Their team is Germany. They had flags yesterday. So for them, they want the same show as the home crowd.
Absolutely. And there's less of them in the crowd. But we recognize too that, let me compare it to like the NHL or the NBA, where every team eventually has a home court. Whereas these teams, some teams will never have a home court at this level. So we don't go to every country and they get their home court. So, I mean, if we're talking about fairness, is it a question of fairness where like some teams will just never have a home court? So they'll just always be the team that no one's cheering for. So we do try and encourage people to keep it neutral, but obviously there's a balance, right? Because if yesterday Team Canada was like winning by a mile or something, and the crowd is just super into it, and then all of a sudden we're trying to get people to also cheer for Germany, there's going to be a clash. So we also are taught on how to react to the audience. So you have to also follow the flow of the audience, or else you're creating a clash if you try and force them to do something that doesn't flow with what's happening in the building at the moment, energy-wise.
Because there's sometimes people say to me, "Oh, it's easy to do a podcast. You're just asking questions."
For sure.
But like, I could say the same thing as an MC. Oh, it's easy. You just have to read some cards and always stay on your script. But like, sometimes there's podcasts I have a script, and then the discussion just goes another way. You have to adapt on live. But every great athletes.
Yes.
We always say they make it look easy.
Right.
It's the same thing as an MC. Like if you have your script and you say, I want to go there, but the crowd is going on the other places, and you say it's going to clash. Yes. I need to adapt live right now in front of thousands of people.
Yes. And I think you nailed it. It is about adapting. And that's, I mean, with anything in life for sure. I know that I've tried to create ways that I'm not sounding like go Canada, go all the time. For instance, yesterday, a perfect example is I suggested to the crowd, like, okay, we're all going to do a cheer. I'm going to say, let's go. And I want you to respond with whatever country you're cheering for. Obviously, I know most of the crowd is cheering for Canada. So did I get that go Canada, go cheer? Of course I did. But did I force the Canada part? No, I let them decide. So you can get around. Those are some of the tricks that when we're teaching other MCs at an international level to like think that way, you can get the result you want without forcing it, because the crowd's already going to do that anyways. So it's just a matter of how do you prompt them without making it look like you yourself are so go Canada go, so that But people will have different opinions about this because it's good to have a home court or whatever advantage. And you don't want to go against that. So you should embrace that and just let it be as it is. But I think we just have a different view of knowing that a lot of these teams will never have, or not for a long time, or whatever the situation is. But there's just so many teams in this tournament, specifically if we're talking VNL or a beach tour, where you just can't host that many events in these places.
And it's the same as biathlon, that it's the national, you're playing for the country.
Yes.
It's different from playing like hockey, NHL, that you said, NBA or love in the US. It's like you have your own venue. Mm-hmm. You're gonna come back couple of dozens of times in the year, so you can have someone from here cheering on a professional private team.
Yes.
Compared for a country. And biathlon and volleyball, I really like those two sports. These sports, because like in biathlon, there's one Canadian that finished first in Sweden at the World Cup level. Mm-hmm. But like when he's at the finish, like the last 100 meters, everyone's cheering. He's in Sweden.
Right.
It's like, why are they cheering for him?
Yeah.
But like, no, he's a Canadian. It's going to be his first podium in the World Cup. It's going to be a gold medal. He's been in the World Cup for, at this point, 7 years,
right,
if I'm not mistaken. But like, everyone was cheering. And yesterday, Ukraine here, the crowd
was cheering for them
with the ice scooters, or like Ukraine, and they were starting the chants.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not own.
No,
but if the fans want to cheer for a specific team or just for the sport,
yes.
And when I talked with Gilles, on the episode in French, he was saying, it's volleyball. We cheer for everyone.
Of course.
That's a goal.
It is
that's
a goal.
The beauty of the sport. And
100%.
I think that's why, personally, and probably you too, is that in volleyball, there's no, in the VNL, there's not, there are rivalities. Usually it's a sport. You have to have some combat and fighting.
Yes.
But with the net, there's no physical contact. It creates a barrier, but everyone's cheering for everyone.
Yes.
And when you leave a game of volleyball, like yesterday Canada lose, I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad. It
was a great game.
It was a great game. Mm-hmm. Both teams did absolutely enormous plays.
Yes.
The crowd was on fire, even though. Mm-hmm. And it was a nice experience.
Totally. And I think that we're also just lucky. We notice that a lot more, I find, in North America, especially because we have so many pockets of different culture embedded in our country. So when we come to Canada, I know, for instance, in Ottawa, we realized very quickly when we were hosting VNL that we have a really big Serbian population. So we love when Team Serbia comes because our venue is filled with people cheering on Serbia, and it's great. And we're able to tap into these communities that already exist within our country who want to come, who maybe volleyball isn't on their radar, but they're so excited that people from their home country are here competing and want to support. So I know by traveling, that's something really unique about our situation here, which makes it even, I guess, easier to just want to cheer for the sport, because these people are Canadian, but then they see their home country participating, and in the end, they're just happy to cheer for both sometimes, which is great. I think when you go into other places like, I'll use Brazil again, for example. Of course they want their home team to win. But there's, you don't see those pockets of populations like we do here. So I would say it does feel a little bit more biased in those countries. Is that a bad thing? No, that's just how it is in their culture. Yeah. So I think we do have something really unique when it comes to that piece that I always tell people about, that is really great about hosting these kinds of sports here, is because we attract so many different communities that maybe they don't even care that they're watching volleyball, but they came here to support their home country, and then they had a great time, and now they're volleyball fans, which is perfect.
Just help grow the sport.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that is a really cool way for us to be able to grow the sport. And I think that we've recognized that approach is a good one to take here. And we do keep pushing it. So yeah, I think it benefits tremendously the growth of the sport, especially in Canada.
And when you go to Europe, you usually have more not crowd, but like people coming to the games because of the countries are closer and closer together. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. So the home crowds, just European style of fans are way different, which is really cool.
Have
like
you seen
it's amazing.
A soccer game in Europe?
Oh my goodness, yes, we have.
That's on my bucket list.
You should definitely keep it on your bucket list. It's quite a good experience. But no, they're different. To give you an example, I'll go off topic for a second here, but to give you an example, when I learned that the way I needed to MC in Canada was where I started, obviously. And then as I was going to these different countries in Europe, I was like, I don't need to prompt people to clap their hands. They're just going to do it. Here, I have to, everybody clap your hands, or, I have to tell people what to do. And do they do what I do? Yes, because I've built a rapport and people trust me. I think that's also something really cool I've noticed is that people trust me enough throughout the process of the match that when I ask to do something, everyone ends up doing it. And I'm trying to do it for a purpose, whether it's to stay engaged, to cheer on the athletes, to whatever. So people are following me, which is great, but I have to prompt it. I have to give direction here.
Do you need to do it every game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But in Europe, it's almost like they just know they're going to be loud the whole time. You don't need to ask them to get loud. There's no noise meter there. They're just going to always make noise. And same in a lot of even South American countries where the vibe is just to be loud and very open and dancing and celebrating all the time. Very different vibe than Europe, but still just less prompting is needed in those countries. So I know that when I go to those places, I do have to adapt in that sense as well, for knowing that I don't have to tell people what to do there. They're just going to do it because they just know that's just part of how they cheer for sports.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And when you go to Europe, you can see like every country is coming. And when you go to a game, do you sometimes see like specific group of people for a team that is not the home crowd?
Yes, you sometimes do for sure. Like you said, the countries are close in proximity, so you will see groups come. I think it's more, I feel like in Canada, we do put more of an effort to specifically reach out to those groups and then have them come.
Yeah.
But there, it's just they're going to come. So there's not, there's no marketing strategy behind, hey, we're in France, let's make sure Germany comes for this. Like they will probably just be there. But I would say let me put it this way. In Canada or North America and the US as well, we have some matches where Canada's not playing, where it looks like a home crowd for someone else. Like when we go to Chicago every year and Poland is playing in Chicago, that's the biggest
crowd
Polish population outside of Poland. So it looks like we're in Poland. Like the entire building is filled with Polish fans, which is crazy, which is amazing. Like we're not even in Poland, but they're all there. That's kind of the same feeling we had when we were in Serbia and Ottawa a few years ago. So I don't think you would ever get it to that extent in Europe. But they come because of proximity.
And 2023, you came to Quebec City with Norseka. It's the first time we met.
Yes.
Last year, you came with VNL.
Yes.
This year again. There's VNL next year.
Yes.
I don't know if it's...
I hope it's on my radar.
I hope it's on your radar.
Yes, I would love to be participating again.
Do you love the city of Quebec?
I do. Oh my goodness. 2 reasons. Of course, I'll talk about the people again. Everyone's just so... It's just as if sports in general is just part of your culture and it's in your veins almost. Like you all love it. So... because a lot of us are passionate about this project that we bring here, whether it was Norseka, there's just, everyone wants to be a part. It's such an easy group of people to work with, and the community in the city is just so welcoming and is just so excited to have whatever event we kind of bring to the table here, which is so great. So the people here have been awesome. And we get so much great feedback about just how beautiful of a city it is. Like, it's just truly is. We're really proud, I would say, when we tell people we're going to Quebec City. It's one of the oldest cities in Canada. It's where a lot of our history is. And it's a good way to define a piece of Canada and an area that we're proud of. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with that this is a great spot to host international events. On top of it being a nice city, just there's great people to work with, and the crowds just love it here so much. I know there's no professional sport team here at the moment, and I think that works to our benefit, unfortunately. But it's great, and I think that when the city does have an event of this magnitude that comes, the fans just want to be part of it, and the volunteers. We were talking about that earlier, how great the volunteer pool is here. So I think for all of those reasons, it's a fantastic spot to have an event of this magnitude.
Yeah, you talk about the fans. Do you remember the game of Republican Dominica versus US in Norseca?
Vaguely.
Okay, it was the final of game,
yes,
and like everyone was cheering for
Dominican Republic. You're so right.
It was, and I have a picture. This tournament, I was taking pictures. I have a picture of the owner of the team, Cristobal, crying with his hand over his heart, just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. It was, I don't remember her name, the Libero Gomez, I think.
Yes.
That was like cheering on and after points after points. And like they were playing against the US.
Yeah.
And the home crowd we were 3,000 in the Peps.
Yes.
For the Norseca. It was full, sold out. Everyone was cheering. I remember the faces also of the Republican team. They were all almost crying because they don't understand, because people are Canadian but are cheering for them.
Yes.
Playing against the US in the finale, and they won.
Yes.
So I think I think probably some of them, it will be the highlight of the career, probably.
Yes, it's so unique when you go somewhere that is not your home and you're getting people cheering for you in that capacity. And I noticed that a lot here. I feel like our crowd and our culture, our sports culture is just very good at that. I don't know if it's our Canadian way of like, our team's not here, so let's just pick one and go for it. But it makes it so much better. And the teams like just love it. Like how cool is it to play somewhere that is not your home and you're just getting so much love and cheering and all of the above to make it feel like you're at home. So I think that's so great about the type of sport culture that we do have here. I find that it's probably the same in many of the sports that we have here, where it's just like, your team's not here, just pick one. And people cheer for them.
And how do you find the Centre Vidéotron?
What a fantastic venue. Truly a fantastic venue. Of course, it's brand new. For someone who's traveling around the world, we're not always used to having the creme de la creme of venues in some places. But it is truly designed to host events like this. The staff are so knowledgeable. Everyone is so professional. And there's all the bells and whistles that we could dream of to be able to, even from a production side, to want to do things the way they should be at an event of this high of level in international volleyball. So fantastic facility with very professional people who know their stuff.
And for you as a producer, is it easier to come in a newer and bigger stadium than a small one, or is it just different?
It's definitely just different. I think that coming into a venue that already has some of the pieces that we need to do our production. So for instance, this building has some screens already input, like the Jumbotrons in the middle. There's some ribbons involved. There's a full audio system in the building already.
They added 10 speakers.
Yeah, like it just keeps growing. So there's a lot of things that when you look at an event and you need, they have I would say at least over 50% of what we're looking for already in the building. Whereas some places you get like a convention center and you are putting everything in the space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we do experience like from one side of the coin to the other, like just a wide variety of different venues. And when we come to places like this, of course, it has some of its challenges because sometimes the way we would want to design things or put things in a certain position just aren't doable because they're part of the building already. So you do have to adapt. But nonetheless, the building and the people that are here and the amount of resources that are here make that quite easy. Like there's been, I would say, very few challenges at this building at all from the venue side of things, which is usually one of the hardest pieces to try and bring together during an event is managing what the building has to offer, what suppliers are involved, and how everyone is integrating together. So it's been a wonderful experience here for the last 2 years.
I had the chance Monday morning to see everything being set up.
Oh, yes. It's wild.
And I think I came here late morning. There was some stuff doing. I came upstairs, took the room, place, and when I come back in the afternoon, it was looking completely different.
Totally.
And then I said, okay, there's still missing, it was missing the nets and some things.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning for the press conference, I came here, everything was set up. I was like, do they sleep?
Yeah, but they're quick. Like we have just, it's one thing to have a good way of, we call it load in when you're loading everything into the building, but then to program it. So once everything's set, it's like, for instance, if you take the lighting that was brought in, people had to build the rig, put it on the floor, and then lift it, adjust it, and then you have to program what the lights are going to do. So we just have so many professionals that like know their job and are so capable that everything happens quick here, which is great.
Because I have a question. Yesterday I was looking at the fireball on the technical aspect.
Yes.
And there was a fireball on the play. There's lights coming up in the stands. Behind the players, there's small LED screen LEDs. There's fireball there. Mm-hmm. On the Jumbotron, there's the fireball. And then between the lodge and the levels, there's also a small screen
ribbons.
LED ribbons. Mm-hmm. They also light up with a different pattern than during the game. And I think it's probably just one button that they press for fireball.
I wish. There's a few people pushing buttons to make that happen.
Oh.
But it depends on, again, so in a perfect world, when you have that many screens, you would want one button and then all the screens do the same thing. And in this case, that's not what we have here, and that's fine. We just have a few operators that do a few different things to make it work. So for every moment that is like produced during a match, and this goes for any sport, like if there's a goal in hockey, the light goes off, there's music, there's the screens are doing one thing, the MC's saying another thing. There's like 7 people involved of just making that moment what it is usually. So I'm exaggerating a little bit for us here, but yeah, there's the lighting, there's the 2 screen producers, there's the show caller who calls it, there's the DJ that played the music, there's me that's announcing it. So there's at least 6 people there that have to be on top and reacting, because you don't know when that is going to happen. Just like you don't know when a goal is going to happen in hockey or a grand slam is going to happen in baseball.
But even in hockey, like a goal, you can see it coming. A fireball, you cannot.
No. And I think, too, what's so great about what we chose to celebrate in volleyball is that it's all points that are scored in obviously an exciting way. But there's 25 points per set. So there's multiple points being scored. That's just how the game works. So we've identified the most exciting ones. But at the end of the day, you can't predict any of them. No. And you also need to be mindful that if you think all the points are exciting, then you've diluted that special effect. So in hockey, it's very obvious what's a goal. In this case, we're using our judgment because, yes, there's a lot of blocks that take place in volleyball, but are they all monster blocks? If we celebrated every block, nothing would be special. Or if we celebrated every type of big hit, nothing would be special. So there's only so many ways you could score a point. But I think we've done a good job at finding a good, I would say, frequency, or trying to develop a frequency where people feel like they're celebrating often enough without being too often, to kind of keep the match interactive throughout the entirety of it.
Who is making the decision, the MC or the producer?
Everyone does it differently. At this particular stop, I'm super thankful that I have, we brought in a DJ from Spain, DJ Tony Rojas. He was the DJ at the Paris Olympics for beach volleyball. So him and I have been working together in Canada for the last 2 years. We both help each other. So I typically call it and he'll follow suit, but sometimes he knows that because I'm also trying to manage the production side of things at times, I'll miss stuff and he'll do it and then I'll follow him.
He's starting the music
For
and
sure.
you're like, oh, it's a fireball.
So if you ever do hear the music first, it's because he's covering my butt.
Nice to know.
But every stop will do it differently. Some places are very good with their show callers cueing it. When I was learning the sport, we didn't have necessarily the show callers that were calling it. I was just taught to call it. So here I call it, but I'm yelling it loud enough that it kind of cues everyone. But in some places, depending on where you go, sometimes it is the show caller that will call it and then everyone else will follow suit. But that's just the way we've adapted here. Mm-hmm.
But I just want to say before leaving, congrats.
Oh, thank you.
For the show you've brought up with all the team with you. And I have two last questions. At the beginning, you said on the first night you bombed, you forgot your notes and everything. And now we've gone all the way up to now. People's gonna see you on the floor cheering and everything, and it seems easy, but you were once a beginner.
Yes, it was.
And failure is part of life. You have to sometimes bomb in front of thousands of people, probably not for everyone. But if you want to make something big, you have to try.
For sure, you have to try. Yes, I've definitely learned that failure is so important in anything you do. Like you said, I think failing that way was obviously humbling, but it's the only way to really grow. We fail all the time in this industry in many different ways, whether it's me emceeing. There's things that I did yesterday that people wouldn't think is a failure for me, but there was things that I did and I was like, ooh, I can't do that tomorrow. But you just move on, right? You learn from it, and every failure is actually just more, if you don't see it as a failure and more of a development moment, you're like, ooh, I did that. I could do that better next time. I think that's just a good way of looking at life.
My last question is a question I ask every guest. What does it mean to you to be healthy?
What does it mean to be healthy? I guess a combination of things. How your body's feeling, how your mind is working, and I guess how your spirit is. I feel like I'm very healthy spirit-wise. That's something I know I excel at. Mind, I'm also pretty good. The physical part, I could definitely use some work in terms of just being more conscious of habits that I have. I know when I'm not working, I have very good habits. And when I am working, those habits aren't so great. But I think health for me is a combination of just trying to be the best version of myself as possible in those three areas of life, while also recognizing the situation I'm in. So right now I recognize I'm working. I recognize I lack sometimes the physical part of health, and I try and be better at that in these moments. Then I could put the other two on the back burner knowing that they'll be fine. And then there's other moments in life where there could be a struggle or something, and my physical health is what's going to keep me going, and I have to work on other things mentally, let's say. So, I think just trying to keep all those three things in check and recognizing that it's a bit of a scale. When one's doing well, the other one can kind of be better and boost the other one up. But yes, what a fantastic question.
Bianca, thank you so much.
No, thank you. This was great. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yes, finally.
Yes.
See you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you to have listened to this episode of the show. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, leave a rating and review. It really does help. And for more content, please follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. See you next time.